Ladies and gentlemen, innovators, entrepreneurs, and visionaries, welcome to a brand new season of Inno-Vision, your guide to innovation and entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Ananya Kapoor, and today we're embarking on a journey that is certain to spark your entrepreneurial enthusiasm. In addition to being our second guest of the season, Mr. Rahul Sutar carries with him a wealth of qualification and expertise. He holds the prestigious titles of Chartered Accountancy and Certified Information Systems Auditor, showcasing his deep knowledge and commitment in finance and information systems. Furthermore, his impressive list of certifications from industry giants like Cisco and Microsoft highlight his dedication as staying at the forefront of technology and business trends. He's worked at Ernst& Young and ICICI Bank and currently is the vice president of a top multinational bank where he oversees tech projects in finance and regulation. He is recognized as a top achiever at the Institute of Chartered Accountants and has received awards for his certifications. He's certified in teaching soft skills and is actively involved with the Art of Living Foundation, where he conducts management and yoga programs. As we explore his insights, experiences, and wisdom, get ready to discover the keys to innovation, entrepreneurship, and extraordinary success. Whether you're a new entrepreneur or simply someone curious about innovation, this podcast is just for you. So grab your notebooks, focus your thoughts, and prepare for an exciting ride because this journey is sure to brighten up your world with bright ideas. So let's begin our conversation with Mr. Rahul Sutar. Good morning. So, as students and as in college and school also, we've learned that mentors shape our future and our lives. So, who are some of your mentors who guided you or shaped your future as a new entrepreneur?
So there are multiple mentors who have shaped my career. One is the ones who have been immediately close to my career, who have been the kind of directors or the managing directors who have been closely working on the industry side. And when it came to about learning the life skills, I think it was none better than my parents, who were my best mentors, to teach me how you deal with life. So that's the kind. So it's a combination of people in the family and people in the industry who turned out to be mentors and well-wishers. And I wouldn't say just one or two. There are many who have made a difference to me.
So, obviously, for all of us, we all always talk about our achievements. So, what has been some of your greatest achievements as till now, to date?
So if you ask me, as you mentioned, my introduction of a chartered accountant, it was never an intent to become a chartered accountant. It was a dream come true for me when I became a chartered accountant. Possibly I was the first chartered accountant in the family. So that was like a dream come true. And after that, the way the entire career spanned across the banking industry, it was something I never imagined it's going to shape up so well. They just started falling into place, and that's what you see now, right? As the vice president of the MNC Banks.
I feel like that's so true for all of us. You don't really know where you're going, but
Precisely.
life takes you somewhere else.
Yes.
So, when you were in college, what are some of the goals you set for yourself?
So when I was in college, it was more that I wanted to be successful. That was the only goal I had. There was no intentions to do CA, but ended up being a wonderful college so I'm an ex-NM student. So being a wonderful college, you always have a kind of environment where you are forced to think in a very different way. And many of my friends are getting into chartered accountancy, and I said at that point, it seems to be the right thing for me. So I also took a plunge into it.
So, is there any projects that you did in school about technology that made you very curious about it and made you pursue a career about it?
So during the school days, it was not, but I believe in the earlier part of my career in the industry, when I was interviewed by Ernst & Young as a chartered accountant, they said they would like to do something in technology. And a chartered accountant in technology is something unheard of, right? So I decided to take the plunge at that time, and that's where you see me as a functional techie.
So, what are some of the projects or experiences at MNC Bank that you've done that stands out to you?
Sure. So this is a very pertinent question for all of you, right, as a part of the student community or from the professional community. So you name a technology, I was there. So right from when I joined the MNC Bank where I am, so I used to be very keen about all this technology, right from databases to operating systems to firewalls to routers to networks. Imagine the chartered accountant getting into all this, something unheard of, right? But then that's something which I took the plunge and learned across all the technologies, monitoring technologies, what a data center looks like. So I've been in the chilling cold of the data centers, actually doing my work over there. So that's the kind of exposure I had. Also, in parallel, which is more relevant for all students like you, is that I always paid attention to business. I was very keen. What is the front office trader doing? What is he doing on the markets? And that business understanding helped me to be able to understand and deal with technology folks very more efficiently and effectively. Because technology sits as a layer on business, and you can't implement technology unless you understood business.
They go hand in hand.
They go hand in hand.
So basically, you've been a part of the Art of Living Foundation. So what made you join the NGO?
Oh, that's a very good question. Um, at a certain point in my career, I felt that is my career all about CA? Is it all about money? Or is something more to it? And there are people who always come to this, stage in life. For me, it came a bit earlier. And when I was trying to find a reason to it, I said, let me do something which talks about spirituality. It's something which you feel, it's for the ones who are the oldies in this world, right? But then I said, let's take a plunge. And I realized there's so much of understanding what life is about, which is very, very crucial for our own growth in industry. So I'll put it this way. If you really want to be successful, one limb is materiality, the other limb is spirituality. If you're weak in one of them, you're like those one-legged person.
Right.
That's a bit of that.
So obviously our listeners, some of them might not know what this foundation is about. Could you explain a little bit about the foundation to them?
Sure. So the Art of Living Foundation is in 181 countries over there, and it's founded by His Holiness Sri Ravi Shankar. And it's all about getting us mind out of the human space. If you ask me, that's the objective of His Holiness Sri Ravi Shankar. Now all these programs which are there, right from programs for youth students, which is all about stress management. So overthinking is something which I hear a lot from all the students. And that's, those kind of programs are there. We have programs around yoga, how you get your mind under control. And that's very much required. And I say so because, when you get in the industry, it's all about leading people. It's about leading minds. And you can lead someone else if your own mind is not under control.
So a lot of us haven't really heard about technology. We're all engineering students, and I feel like we should know more about technology because it's going to shape our future. So could you talk about blockchain technology a little bit?
So blockchain technology is more about, so there are key things in blockchain. It's about ensuring that the integrity of data is intact. Right? So you just cannot go and tamper the data. So that's a key essence. Also, it helps to remove the kind of middle person. So today when you do a transaction, like with the stock exchange, you have the integrity, the sub-brokers, the brokers, right? Now in blockchain, there's a centralized ledger. Right? So everyone can get a copy of what the transactions are happening. So that's what the beauty of blockchain. So the industry has started implementing it, but there's some more time to go before we can really say it's seen the light of the day and fully people are really using it. But I think stick on to it, you as students. It's here to stay. You should have your journey and get your hands into it.
So your experience at MNC Bank, how is it different from a conventional bank?
So the MNC banks are all mature in the number of years they have been over here. So essentially it means that the processes are very mature. So that's one. The second thing is you get to meet across the entire globe. What more enriching experience you would have than this? And it's also to have different cultures you work with, different ways in which people think. Also, people come from various educational backgrounds. So you're getting the best across from the world.
Basically, opening your mind to different things.
That's correct.
So you're not aligned to think in one way, you're thinking in multiple ways instead of just like being strict.
And when you get all this, the other thing which happens gradually is natural causes. You start becoming a global entity. You're building a brand for yourself because when I work with the MNCs, which is something I am, you're interacting with so many people and in a way, you're creating the brand for country India.
So, what does a normal day for you look as a vice president?
So my day would start like at 5 o'clock in the morning, and it would start. And I'm sure you as students will, you know what? If you get up at 8 o'clock, that's good enough for us. Yeah. So 5 o'clock is when my day starts. Where I start with yoga, meditation, and Sudarshan Kriya, which I've learned from the Auditor Foundation. And once I'm done with that, so first location that I have to enter is Singapore and Hong Kong. So at 6 o'clock in the morning IST time, I'll start looking at all my emails and everything, and I start looking at what the escalations and the laws which are happening in technology. And then as things progress, then you have London that opens up, and then the US. So it's a kind of roller coaster ride that goes throughout the day. And amidst this, yes, I have a passion so for drumming and for performing arts. So even with the academies of performing science topic as well. So I do follow my passions. Plus, of course, being with students like you. That's enough, I think, to get my entire day occupied.
So, what's one aspect of your position at MNC that in the future that would look a little different and would fascinate you? Like, what would you like to see improved as working at MNC, like in the future?
As far as my position is concerned, so I would like to see more of the leadership talent, right? And so I would like to see, so that's on the personal front. If you ask me what I would like to see in any organization for that matter is, today organizations, the connect and the sense of belongingness within we as people, right, is it has to go high. So we got a sense of belongingness in our families. Why can't we have it at the workplace?
Right.
And
So
that's
feel like a family.
yeah, it should feel like a family, as you rightly said. And that's the kind of stuff I would always want to look forward to.
So, what are some of the difficulties you've encountered working in the industries that you have worked in?
So the first and foremost difficulty was, since I came from a functional background, getting used to technology and getting my hands dirty. That was a big struggle. In fact, it is not only a struggle, an outward struggle, it was also an inward struggle. That as a chartered accountant, what am I doing in technology? So that was a big struggle and a big hurdle. But then I think around in 2013, that's where people started talking about functional and technical, and the gap started reducing. People were preferred who understood both, and that was like a great thing for me. So that was one, trying to get over that hurdle. Second hurdle, obviously, was the kind of ability to maintain your calm when you are amidst stress and pressures. And so that was another hurdle, which with all my meditations and all that stuff that I do, I've been able to. And of course, there are new things which come, new challenges come. You take it as by the day. I'm sure by the time you're good enough in the industry, you're able. It comes naturally that you take every challenge as an opportunity. That comes very naturally. I'm sure you all as students will also get that.
So, as students, how could we take advantage of the emerging technologies?
So my thought around this would be, you as students, first and foremost, it's not about learning more technology. It's about getting hands-on. So if I would ask someone that, who would you prefer? A person who's read a book on how to drive a Mercedes, or a person who's actually driven the Mercedes? The answer would be the latter.
Right.
The same is for you all as students. So no matter which technology you would like to learn, whether it be Python, blockchain, whatever, you have to be hands-on, because the industry plays a lot of premium on you being hands-on.
Right. It's very important to have experiences before you work
Yes,
in places.
yes,
I feel
yes.
like all industries require that.
Yeah, that's the first and foremost. That's why you see people who are not professional, they're also at the top of the rank. The reason is because they're hands-on.
Right. Instead of just being books, they
Yes.
actually do the work.
Sure.
So, soft skills are so important in today's world. So, could you explain why, how it will help us improve? Because as students, we do need soft skills, and we do need to know how to converse with people and also keep our minds in that serene, I would say, place. So, how could you explain how that would help us in the future?
Sure. So if you look at the industry, we look at two things in every candidate when we hire them. One is the what and the how. Right? So what is the kind of degrees that you have? How good you are in your expertise in technology, which you are good at any which ways. The other part which we look at is how are you doing things, whatever you're doing, how are you doing it? And that's the behavioral part.
Right.
And that's when you talk about soft skills, that comes as part of the behavior. So When it comes to behavior, we're looking at the leadership, your team building, your assertiveness, your communication skills, your influencing skills, all of that. So if you ask me, if you really want to make it to the top-notch companies in the industry, it's not an optionality. You have to do it.
It's vital. So, could you tell us some of the techniques to maintain one-on-one relationships? Because I feel like after we reach industry levels, we need to learn how to have relationships with your coworkers, with your bosses, with people in general.
Stop being judgmental. That's what my first, take would be. And have a sense of belongingness with whoever you are with. The moment we start passing judgments about people, that's when that becomes the biggest bottleneck for us. Go with an open mind and have a sense of connect as much as you have with your family members. I think that should be if you're able to do these two things, then any person you could have a one-on-one relationship. And then, of course, it's an enriching journey as to how much of things you share in common and take that relationship further.
So you've been an alumni at this college or at NMIMS. How does it feel like teaching the class instead of sitting?
When I heard about this, I got a call from NMIMS. It was like a dream come true for me. I wouldn't have asked for more because this college has given me a lot. It's taught me many things. In fact, I've touched with many faculties already. And when it was a kind of gesture from the college, let's get Rahul to come over here. I said, I can't have any better opportunity than this. And that was my opportunity to share with all of you students and give you the hands-on industry knowledge. If you ask me, my intent of coming for this podcast as well and for being with you students is to be able to share what the industry wants to do. And it was like a dream come true. When you are a graduate from NM College and then you're getting a chance to serve your own college.
It's like coming back to your roots, basically.
Yes.
So we've talked about you doing yoga and meditation. So could you talk about some techniques to help students think positively or to avoid overthinking about situations? Because I feel like when we're in college, we have so many things going on and we're stressed out and we tend to overthink and overwork ourselves. So how could we help out with that?
So the simplest things that you can do is meditations, relaxation techniques. There are many guided meditations that are there across which you could do. And also you could start off with a few breathing exercises, yoga, pranayams. Yoga is not an exercise, it's about getting the mind, body, spirit together and get your mind calm. So those are the few things. And once you feel you're ready for this and ready for a bigger one, so that's when you go for some of the programs like the Auditor foundation, which will help all students.
So, what are the emerging trends or technologies that you believe will change the future of our work and our lives in the later on?
So definitely you will have the cloud going big way, which is already beginning, but you'll see more companies going to the cloud. So cloud technology is one thing, AI is the other one, which is big time that's going in the industry, data science. Because today we don't have that intelligence in what's happening there, and that's where these three things are going to play a pivotal role in shaping the future.
So a lot of students are trying to be going into fintech startups and all of that. So what are the challenges or the opportunities they should take that will make it easy for them to get into those startups?
So even if you talk about fintechs or you talk about any other non-startup, challenges are going to be there everywhere. The key thing is, are you ready to take the plunge? Are you committed? Are you ready to work hard? Are you ready to connect with people? Right? If you're able to do it here in startups or in non-startups, that will be successful. The key thing is hard work, hard work, hard work.
I feel like we've always been taught that sometimes hard work is better than just not doing anything. And sometimes hard work pays off more than you think it will.
Yes, definitely. And in the early days of career as new students, it's important that you just stick at it. You have to get into hard work. And you'll see at some point of time that after a few years, you see for yourself, that the benefits that you reach are much more than you thought of.
So could you talk about your session at UPSCA Gurukul about blockchain?
Sure. So the entire Gurukul is all about the chartered accountancy students who come from various parts of the world into the pool. And it was a great opportunity for me to teach chartered accountancy students in the blockchain, because there we have been having sessions as what a network looks like, what a complete spectrum of technology in the banking world looks like, and how does blockchain fit into the entire suite of technologies. So it was a great session and an eye-opener for all the chartered accountant students. We see many of these students who come from the functional backgrounds, like the MBAs and the chartered accountants. They don't have that exposure. So this session was more of an enriching experience. We talked about blockchain, how is it going to impact the healthcare industry, how is it going to impact the financial services industry, how is it going to impact the stock markets, the mutual fund industries, all those kind of various views is something that we talked about at the department.
So basically covering all domains possible.
That's right. Blockchain is here to stay, and it's going to have a big impact on across the entire industry, across all the domains. That you name a domain, blockchain is there.
So, could you give us a few advice on time management? Because I feel like we're doing so much in college. We're doing our studies, our exams, and doing like this committee, for example. Time management is sometimes so difficult for some people. So, could you give us some tips on time management?
Sure. So the way I look at time management is, the first question which I ask students is, are you clear what is that you want to do in life? So if I feel certain things are not relevant for me, I would not do those.
Right.
And I would not spend my time. So the key point is, how clear are you as to what is your vision in life? If my vision in life is to make a difference to people, then possibly I will not spend a lot of time on WhatsApp and Twitter, because it does not seem to be relevant. So that's the way I look at it. First and foremost, have a vision in life. What is that you want to do in life? That's point one. Secondly, look at your day and divide your day into two things, right? The way I would ask students is, do an exercise. On the x-axis you put an important, and the y-axis you put urgent. Plot your activities in this now graph, which is most important, less urgent. Less important, less urgent. Most important, most urgent. And see where you're spending most of your time. And the answer which I've got from students is 10 hours of sleep, 4 hours of social media, and that's the kind of answers we get. I ask students, the next question is, do you think this is relevant for achieving your vision? And the answer comes no. And then themselves they realize that I need to start cutting down on time where I'm not supposed to. It does not have to do anything with my career. That's the key to time. And time management. As you go up in the corporate ladder, no one's going to give you extra time. Time is just going to be very, very less for everything that you do.
I feel like when you graph it out and when you draw it out, even to-do lists, I feel like sometimes they help you out a lot, because they kind of help you structure your day and all of that.
Sure.
And visually seeing how to manage your day, I feel like it helps you more to like organize and to be focusing on the more important things.
True. And discipline is the key to doing all this. Because you have to do this in a very disciplined manner. First few days could be a struggle, but as it becomes a natural part of your behavior, things become very easy for you.
So, what's a day in your life like? Being so in tune with technology and all of that. So, what's like something that you have faced all day?
So for me, at the current juncture where I am, it's definitely facing a lot of challenges. I would say the entire day is full of challenges where you're meeting various stakeholders. So I deal with several of the CFOs and throughout the day. And when we are in banking, we just have to be on our toes. We just have to be on our toes. So if you ask me, our lunch breaks and our other breaks are just happening when the expectations are not there. So that's the kind of day which we have, and it's a very, if you're not able to manage your mind effectively, it could be a pretty stressful day. So it's very important that with all the challenges that we go through, right from when started at the end of the day, you are able to manage your mind, and that's key.
I feel like it's also important because technology keeps changing per minute.
Yes.
Every minute there's something new introduced in the world. So I feel like even for that you need to kind of
Yes.
be a little sorted in your mind so that you can be like in line with all of those changes.
True. And if you look at every business, including banking, it's all technology enabled. So essentially what I'm saying is that if the technology goes down, your business is down.
Right.
And then if the business is down, as a banking sector, you're answerable to the regulators. You're answerable to the stock exchange. You're answerable to your customers. You name a stakeholder and he's there. Now, if you are having so many stakeholders, right, who are getting catered to by banking, which is dependent on technology, the answer lies in that you just cannot afford to get stressed out.
So, we were talking about stress and all of that. So, how do you manage stress? And I also feel like as students, we do take a lot of stress ourselves, but also sometimes there's so much pressure from parents, from friends as well. So, what advice would you give to manage all of that?
So, two things which I would always share with people is your wisdom about what life is about, and the other part is techniques. So we are so much concerned as what the entire world is thinking about me, right? Which is a wisdom part of life. Should I really care so much about what others are thinking about me? Can I be my own self? Right? And the other part of it is, do I really have to just hold on to things that I want? There are many things which you had, in your childhood days which are not there today. Right? So do I really want to hold on to things every time in life? It's okay at times to be a failure. That broader understanding will get you there. And the other part of it is meditations and the pranayams and the yoga and the other techniques and the other one which I do is Sudarshan Kriya. Have a focus on both these and then you will get there. The thing is, we always feel we keep postponing this. But the point is, when we start postponing, what we don't realize is it comes to a tipping point where I feel that I can't manage.
So you mentioned you need to know all aspects, business, technology, finance, to be part even of one domain. So could you talk about some understanding that students should have about business when they're going further in their work life and all of that?
Sure. So when it comes to business, let's talk about the financial services sector. So first and foremost is to understand from a broader perspective, why do we need a bank in the first place? Why do we need the financial services? These are the backbones of the economy. And what are the other stakeholders who are impacting it? It could be the regulators, right? And also, banking is a sector which is connected globally. So today you have downturns in various economies. Can the Indian banking system be insulated? It cannot. So that's the broader understanding. And once you get the broader view, it's also important as students you start picking up various products, maybe your wholesale banking, retail banking, it could be equities, it could be the FX. Pick up a product and look at from start to finish. So if you look at a retail lending as simple as a loan product, what happens? You as a customer will go to the bank. Then the bank will run through certain processes in understanding, whether you're a genuine customer. Right? That's a KYC. And from the KYC, then there are various approvals that happen in the operations process. And after that, there's a payment which happens that the loan hits your bank account. Once the loan hits the bank, there's a repayment process that gets triggered. There's an interest process that gets triggered. And if you default, there's a delinquency process. So the entire chain of events that we talk about, as a student, it's important to understand. And why I say so is, if you're able to understand this, coding this process is far more easy. Because coding is all about putting the entire process into a technology language. So the understanding is just going to happen in a big way. If you're able to get the strong understanding of business, I think you should be able to be one of the very fantastic technocrats in the industry. If you look at various people who have been successful in technology, they understand both.
Right. So it's important to know almost everything in your domain, every aspect, without like singularly just looking at suppose finance. You should look at every aspect of finance.
And it's a journey, I would say. You should never get bogged down or how much of it is there. So I'll give my own example, right? So when I was more of a chartered accountant than a techie, right? I could have been very well bogged down. What? I have to learn IP addressing, I have to learn routers. But for me, it was a journey, right? I took it as a journey, and over a period of time, I started, engaging various technologies, and that got me. So it's also a matter of patience that every student will have to have. Pick up one domain, get there. Pick up the second domain, get there. So that's the way eventually you'll see also your career progressing in the right direction.
So you've trained at NMIMS for a while now. So could you share some of the success stories from your students?
So if you ask me the the biggest moment for me is when I see the students being hands-on. And they say, you know what, now we feel that they're closer to the industry. So that's, one of the things. And the students which are in the minus are in which ways bright. So, they're always wanting to do more. And with that right attitude, right, which the students any which ways carry, it was far more easier for me as, people from the industry to share experience and get them to that next level of being in the industry. So for me, I think the biggest achievement is when the student comes to me and says, you know what, I feel that I've got closer to the industry. That's the biggest wow moment for me.
So you've been working in the industry for a while now. So how is business different now than it was when you began working?
So definitely there's been a radical change. Today, if you look at businesses, they are more technology enabled. Technology is a mantra. You can be successful in business only if you have got the technology. Also, you see the kind of talent pool that you have today. The youngsters like you who are there in the industry are coming up with a different kind of thinking, which is also which you get to see in the industry which was not there before. The ways in which you do business are far, far ahead. But if you look at things today, you're far more globally connected. You're far, far more. You just cannot afford to stay insulated from what's happening across the world. So in that sense, the business has gone far ahead from where it was previously. And today, if you look at the way people do business, it's just at a click of the button. You go to a website and then you have the entire store for you, which was not the case previously. So technology has been a big enabler, and it's here to stay. In fact, you see down the line many more decisions happening in business with the use of technology. It's already happening, but you see a much more maturity in that. You'll see more businesses using AI, right? And it does not mean necessarily people will lose their jobs. What it essentially means is that even the people who are working in the industry will be doing far, far more higher related jobs than what they're doing today. That's where you see a sea change that will happen in business.
And to add to your point about internationally, you should know what's happening. I feel like it's like a domino effect, even to our industries and our businesses. That if something happens internationally, it can affect our businesses as well. So I feel like it's important to know everything, even if it's not related to your particular industry or your particular interest. You should know globally what's happening so that you can be in touch with the.
It's very true, very true. As you rightly said, it's important for students to be a global Indian. Is the way I look at it. It's important to know that if you look at the 2007 crisis, right? So nothing had happened really in India, but the shock have all happened in all the banks globally, right? Which also meant that the entire globe started having its ripple effects. You had a problem with across in Europe, you had it in the UK, and then Asia. Of course, India was not as badly affected, but it did had its repercussions. There was a slowdown that happened. Now, if you really want to be understanding from a technology perspective or as a techie, if you want to think about business, you have to look at the holistic picture.
Yeah.
And it's very important. And tomorrow, you all will be graduating from here, going to high level positions. So at that time, when you have to take your decisions, should I get into this technology or not? At that time, it's important to understand the business.
Yeah.
Just buying AI by itself or just putting a fire on the cloud, it doesn't mean anything. Is it going to be an enabler for me when I start my business? And that understanding will only have if you understand the business well.
So every industry has a positive and a negative. So, working as a chartered accountant, what's some of the more positive aspects and I would not say negative, but some of the aspects you probably disliked about being a chartered accountant?
I don't think there was anything that I disliked about being a chartered accountant because it has many positives. Given me the kind of knowledge which helps me to deal with techies and with all the CFOs across the world. That's one. It's one of the toughest degrees across the world, which essentially means that you are a person who carries a lot of credentials for yourself. It's got the backing of the parliament. It's that kind of degree. And also it's got its linkages globally across the world with so many other institutes across the world. So it's given me everything, in fact given me a platform where I connect with so many people from the corporate world in the industry. When I meet so many of my fellow chartered accountants, right, from various seminars, there's something or the other we pick up from the industry. So nothing else are negatives. Yeah, it's just that it's helped me big time. If you ask me today what's made me successful, yes, my technology degrees have been there. But had it not been my chartered accountancy degree, I didn't think I would have come so far.
So earlier you talked about a hobby you had of drumming. So what are some of the hobbies that you have that have kept you busy aside from your work?
So drumming was always a passion, right? So right from the childhood days, I wanted to. I used to love listening to the rock and the pop music. And in my college, in NM College, which I'm a part of, so that's there, right? It's always there as a part of the extracurriculars. And that was a kind of liking which was always there. However, when I got ahead in my career, I said, now I'm done enough as regards getting into the industry. I said, let me get my hands into the thing which I always wanted to. And that got me to drumming. And so I got a trainer who's a well-versed trainer whom I am learning currently. And given a chance, they will see me in some stage shows sooner or later. But that's one part of it. So I've been in the performing arts, also with the dance academies as well. And I've been a stage performer. On the Western dance, I've been a stage performer. So the last which I did was a month back on a stage performance. So in all the hip hop and the Bollywood tracks and also that's what I had.
So we're talking about hobbies. A lot of the times, people get a distraction from hobbies. So how do you think they help students in their life?
It definitely helps students in their life because so hobby is something which you love to do. You're not forced to be doing it. So you definitely get the kind of joy out of doing it. So as students, if you get stressed out, just get into your hobbies. You don't have to be asked to do a hobby. It just comes very naturally. It's a more of a de-stress. So that's something for your personal. If you ask me, my hobbies have helped me meet various personalities. So when as a part of drumming, I used to go for shows, I used to watch people from the media industry. And the way a person from the media thinks is very different from a banker thing or a chartered accountant. The mindset is completely different. So it helps you broaden your personality, understand life from a bigger perspective. So that's when I went to the drumming, when I was in the music and dance kind of stuff. Again, a various different spectrum of people. And you realize people at that side who are in music are more heart people. If you look at a child, he's more of a logic person, he's more of a head person. So that's the way you meet different personalities, and that's more of an enriching experience when you get to meet so many different personalities.
I feel like even hobbies, you don't need to be particularly good at them to enjoy them. Like in your career, in your studies, you have to be good, even if you don't enjoy it. But in your hobbies, you can just you can be terrible, but you can still enjoy it.
Absolutely. So when it comes to my hobbies, I never set targets to myself. That it just happened. I said, there was more of a discipline. I said, today I should learn these two things. Right? In drumming, I should learn these two things. And it was more of my passion. I never said that in 6 months' time I could be the best drummer. That was never a target for me. And that's where the joy comes out, automatically.
So, how do you organize and direct a group of people so that you achieve your maximum output?
Very nice question, Ananya. First and foremost is having the sense of connect and belonging to people, and that only comes over a period of time. So the way I would care to care about my family members, do I really care about my team? And genuinely so. Once you have that genuine connect with people at large around you, then things just become so easy. So people feel that I want to work with this person, and no matter ups and downs will be there in the character workplace, they still stick to you. It's just about having the connect, the genuine connect, caring for the other person, helping him grow in his career. And it should not be because you want him to reciprocate the same behavior with you. The behavior should be such that I care for you regardless of whether you care for me. Yeah. It cannot be a transactional approach. And when you have this genuine approach, things will fall into place. So in leadership, you always talk about 4 things. Awareness about yourself, how you connect with people, belongingness, you connect with people, your commitment to people, and giving a direction to whatever you do. ABC.
So basically, treating people right in your workplace is very important, regardless of obviously you have arguments and you have disputes, but it's very important to treat people with care and with respect, regardless.
Yes, and you'll still have differences that you want to chase. But it's also important to learn to let go.
Right.
Because there's no point holding on, right? Everyone is human at the workplace. So just you have your discussion, you have this difference of opinion, so be it. End of day, start a fresh day.
It's like gaining new opinions from different people. So you should take it as a learning experience more than getting offended or annoyed or irritated.
And that's what is an enriching experience when you have different opinions, right? That's where in the entire diversity it contributes to. Right? The diverse thinking is the one which helps the industry grow. In fact, there's a linkage between having diverse views and the profitability.
Right. So we are talking about relations in corporate. So could you explain what is CSR and what's its importance?
Sure. A very pertinent question that you asked. CSR is the corporate social responsibility. We as in corporates would want to see we have a responsibility towards the society. So through this CSR, there are many projects that get taken up. It's about making a difference to people. So there are certain programs which I've been a part of. It's about mentoring students. It's about building houses. It's about getting solar lamps in villages. So there are many programs that happen. While you always say that you are making a difference to someone else's life, but there's something more to it in my view. It's about making a difference to yourself. You as a personality, you as a person grow. The what caring means to others, it helps to enrich your own personality. And when you're in CSR activities, over a period of time you realize that you be one of those persons where someone else wants to always be with. You have so much of enriched qualities within you. And these qualities are very relevant and pertinent for you to be a leader and a global leader. So in a way, it helps you big time in your career as well.
So it's almost like developing yourself into a better person and also having like that love for yourself and your thoughts and personalities and giving yourself a little bit more importance.
Yes.
And caring about everything around you instead of just being like about yourself. You're sympathetic to everything around you.
Absolutely.
So what is success to you? I feel like it's very different for different people.
If you had asked me this question a few years ago, I possibly answered it differently. It would have been more materialistic. For me, today success is about having that the calm state of mind, a peaceful state of mind, and having that undying smile and peace. No matter if you have all the money in your bank account, but if you can't even smile, honestly, I don't even know that you're successful. So for me, success is about having the ability for being peaceful with oneself and having the ability to always smile throughout.
So basically, no amount of money can substitute for happiness. So it should be a priority, basically.
Absolutely.
So looking back throughout your career, what's some of the advice that you'd give to your younger self based on like what all you've learned throughout your life till now?
Okay, so if I have to really step down the memory lane, first and foremost would be that hard work, hard work, hard work. There's no substitute to it. That's one. Second, would be an outgoing personality. So you just cannot be serious about studies. You have to be going across doing many more things in the outside world, right? And it could be about music, whatever your passions are. Be an outgoing personality because the industry is all about wanting people who are having the dynamism in them. So that's point two. Secondly, the third point which I would say is be hands-on. It's okay to read books. It's okay to master technology, but what's equally important is that you start getting into hands-on stuff and connect more with people. Connect more with people. I think there are only people who are going to build your careers. Focus a lot on soft skills. That's key. On leadership skills, team building skills. All of these things are very, very crucial. As I said previously, the what and the how. This will become aware of these 2 points. The what is how good you are in your expertise, in your degrees. How is how you're able to conduct yourself in the industry. If you're able to do all these, I'm sure the industry is your way.
So I have a question. It's relating to the one you answered just now. It's just something that I want to ask. I feel like you said that a lot of people should be outgoing and a lot of people are introverts. So can you give some advice how to overcome that fear of not being able to talk?
It's a very nice question. So if you ask me, you'll not be able to make out that I'm myself an introvert.
That could
But,
be
but the point is, when you go out in the industry, you have to flex your style. So I will always give these examples to students. So it's about, so when the mother gets angry, to its kid, she's showing anger, she's not getting angry. So when you are in the outside world, the corporate world, you should also have the ability to flex your style. So maybe I'm an introvert, but when I go outside, I would want to mix up with the people at large. And it does not mean that I have to be an extrovert and change myself, right? But I can definitely flex my style for a moment, for those 2-3 hours. That's definitely okay. Flexing your style is very key, in the corporate world. And it does not mean you're becoming artificial. It's just that you're ensuring you're making the other person feel comfortable. And once you're done with your transactions with those persons, you come back to your own natural behavior.
So it's basically being an extrovert in those kind of situations where it's required for you to
Yes.
interact with people instead of just staying in your shell.
Very true.
Basically. So we're all in college and we're all pursuing careers right now. So what's some of the advice you'd give us?
So in terms of advice, I would say get in tune with what's happening in the industry. There are many conferences that happen outside. Start attending those conferences. You get a flavor as to what's happening in the industry. So that's one. Whatever you are learning in college, see how you can make it hands-on. Be in touch with the industry. Go out. Maybe it may mean for you doing a freelancing, but have your hands-on stuff. Right? That's the second thing. Third thing is the soft skills part. The soft skills part, leadership, teamwork, all these things get looked at when you are getting interviewed in the top-notch companies. So have your focus on that as well. And I'm sure the industry would want you to have you as their top pick.
And there you have it, folks. What an exciting journey it has been with Mr. Rahul Sutar. Thank you, sir, for joining us and making this podcast extremely special. It has been a pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure from my side, and thank you for having me here. And look forward to having you with all of you, soon.
So, as we finish this episode, I would like to remind all of you that there is no limit to innovation. Take your ideas and nurture them, and see how they make a difference in the world. Before we say goodbye, thank you to our listeners. You are the heart of innovation. Your love and curiosity for new ideas makes this podcast extremely special. Stay tuned for more interesting episodes and more stories to inspire you. And if you like this, please subscribe and share it with your friends. This is Ananya Kapoor signing off from Inno-Vision. Until next time, remember that your dreams can change the world. And for more interesting episodes, stay tuned.